Hey everybody. So, a few minutes late, but we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so today my topic is going to be on how to set up for success for postpartum weight loss. And so for those of you who don't, hey Corley, thank you. For those of you who don't know me, well, first of all, let's kind of go through like how this kind of works. So I am super fearful of talking in public and in front of a camera. I'm really good one-on-one, but not so great in group. So I'm getting over that fear, using my courage, which is what I tell my 5-year-old daughter to do. And so I'm going to need you guys to give me some thumbs up, some hearts, comment, get some, it gives me kind of that feeling if I'm talking to you and you're like going, it's one-on-one, and I see you shaking your head, and I see you kind of, your eye contact and all that stuff. So the hearts and the thumbs up or whatever you want to do, the comments really help me get like into it. So that's how you can support me as I'm trying to support you in this journey of how to set yourself up for, success for weight loss in postpartum, right? Hey Tiff. So first of all, so thank you for that. Thank you for joining in, and I'm so beyond humble and grateful that you guys have even watched all the other videos that we had, and I had such awesome messages and awesome, great questions that are coming out now and are getting to me now, and about just anything that I've been talking about on the other videos. So I really, really appreciate it. I mean, it's almost like 20,000 views, so that's so cool to me. It just feels really good to do something you're passionate about and kind of put yourself out there, and that people are helped by it. And it means a lot when people take the time out, even if it's 15 seconds, to just say thank you, or hey, this is how it's helped me, or here's another question, or here's my situation. I really appreciate that, and I couldn't be grateful. I mean, more grateful for that. So I really appreciate that. So let's go in for all of those tuning in. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. If a lot of you guys already know me, but let me just tell you a little bit more about myself. For those of you who don't know me, or this is kind of your first time joining in. First of all, my name is Julie Hong. I own 4 gyms in the Dallas Plano area. 3 of them are Fit 180. They're called Fit 180 private training studios, and I've had those for 11 years now. And then I have a new concept that started a couple years ago called LFT Personal Training. It's in Plano. And I started my first gym at 25, my second one at 27, my third one at 29. I had a baby at 31, another baby at 33. I started my newest concept, LFT Personal Training in Plano, at 34. With regards to the topic, the first baby, I had gained 70 pounds. I actually stopped weighing myself after 65 pounds, which was like 2 to 3 weeks before I had the baby. So I imagine I hit 70 by the time I gave birth. The second baby and the first baby, Ellis, was 9 pounds. And the second baby, Campbell, was 9.5 pounds, and I gained 80 pounds with her. So a lot of it was kind of like how my body or my genetics kind of makes babies, but I lost maybe 30 pounds from delivery and all the fluids, but there was still a lot of work to be done to get my body back. So I don't want you to think like, hey, yes, this is kind of, how I make babies is I get really, really big, but I think that we could all learn from a lot of the things that I'm going to be teaching you guys or talking about, just because I've worked with hundreds and thousands of clients that have gone through this journey, and everybody's story is different, every pregnancy is different, but I do pick out what is the same, right? And so anyhow, so I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. I run multiple businesses. I've been married for, I guess 10 years now, and we've been together for 14 years. And so being a wife, a mom. I mean, I try to be a really good wife. I try to be a really good mom. I try to be a really good business owner. I try to be a really good boss. You know, I try to be a really good sister. So I'm trying to do it all, and and my goal in life and my passion in life is to help more people get more wellness and happiness and gratitude in their life. And the way that I do it is through my business and my personal training, or what my business does for the community. So, all right, let's get started. The first thing I want to, I'm going to talk about, I'll talk a lot about mindset if you haven't seen all the videos. And by now you should know that mindset is like the biggest key, right? So let's start with mindset. So this is what, first of all, we have a plan A and a plan B always, right? So plan A is if you want to be fit before you get pregnant. You want to be fit during your pregnancy, because as soon as you have the baby, you're already ahead of the game, right? So if that's not happening, or that's not, the case, then you go to plan B. And so this video is this topic is for all the kind of plan B, right? So you haven't had a trainer, you haven't been working out, you haven't had a good fitness plan, now you're pregnant, what do you do, right? And a lot of people underestimate the whole pre-planning or pre-game process and the strategy that it takes to lose weight. So I'm going to give you things that I do personally that has worked, and then what we teach our clients to do at Fit 180 and at LFT Personal Training, what to do. And you might think that it's not that big a deal, but these little details are a huge deal. And I will try to do my best, and I think I do a pretty good job of explaining why it's so important, even if you think that it's very minor, okay? So let's talk about mindset. So basically, if this is your first, and I'm talking about this is your first kid, and then I'll talk about how it happens when your second kid comes around. So I look at everything as I do a lot of strategy, right? When I grow businesses, it's strategy. Everything I do for goals or accomplishing goals is all about strategy. So I think, okay, I sit back and I go, okay, so I'm going to have my first baby. I've gained this many pounds. What is going to happen when, I tried to visualize what's going to happen with the baby, what I've heard from other clients whenever you have deliveries, right? You're going to be super tired. You're going to be up every 2 hours. You're going to be kind of being being reactive instead of being proactive. So I understand that emotional or willpower is very limited in a day, right? So if you use up say you have 5 willpowers and you use it all up, well, you really don't have, you just don't have any more left. And all that willpower, when you deliver and you have a baby, it's used up on the baby, right? So what you need to do is do a better job pre-gaming or pre-planning or setting up for success, right? And so what we tell clients, so let's say you're a client coming in, and basically what you need to do is find some accountability. And I'm going to tell you how I work with clients and how I've done it. I'm a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer for a long, long time. I have multiple gyms, but I still use a personal trainer because I know that when the baby comes out, and this is my first baby, I'm not going to know what to expect. I'm going to run out of emotional energy. I'm going to be really tired. I won't be able to make great decisions. I'm just trying to make sure that I take care of this baby. So what I do is I would suggest 30 to 60 days out, you start setting up like your accountability partner. So I would maybe, for my push present, I would ask to have a personal trainer for 3 months, or 6 months, or however long you need to, that you think that you need to establish your habit. So I would get a meeting with a personal trainer that's either, or a company or, a gym that's done it before, that that's had success, that has either been through it or worked, or are certified in it, or worked with a lot of women that have just had babies. And the mindset is this: if you don't get your fitness and your plan and your rhythm and your habit down now, it doesn't get easier. So you think that having the baby is going to be the hardest thing. Well, when the baby's 6 months and a year, it gets harder and you get busier and you're just doing more. It's like you have less time. So it's easier to, when the 30 to 60 days before the baby comes out, it's easier to have a plan prior. So I would basically I'm just going to give you an example of what clients do. So they'll call us up, or they'll, come in for a consultation and say, hey, I'm going to have a baby. This is when I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to want to lose this many pounds, and I want to get back to my pregnancy weight at this amount of time. So what we do is we say, hey, okay, so this is when you're going to start, you're going to email us and let us know when you've had the baby, and then you're going to email us again, 4 weeks out after you had the baby, and this is when you're going to start. And we're going to do 2 sessions a week or 3 sessions a week. We do this plan, right? And we have like things in place that we are going to need so that we don't think about it later while the baby's, like, when the baby arrives, because you can't think of all that, trust me. So you set that up, and then you set, when you're going to come back to training. So hey, I'm going to come back when it's 4 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever your doctor says is okay. And then so the next step, so the mindset is this: hey, I don't know what's going to, like, the worst case scenario is that I'm going to be super tired, which is everybody tells me, and I'm going to be all hands on deck. I'm going to be freaked out because I don't even know how to take care of this human being. So I better go ahead and plan on what I need to do to put in place to be successful with my weight loss, because nobody's going to really take care of you. You have to take care of yourself, and you have to take care of this other human being. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's going to be how it is, right? And you have a very short window of motivation after you have the baby. Otherwise, life gets you, and you're just taking care of the kids, and you're just like being reactive instead of proactive. And then before you know it, you have another baby. You want to have another baby, and you're still 10 to 20 pounds over what you originally started with. So it's better to just, hey, I just need to get plan in place of what I'm going to do with my body. And then also you're getting a plan in place of what you're going to do with the baby for childcare and yada, yada, right? Okay. So the things you need to do is have the accountability for, set up for the trainer, talk to your trainer for a game plan 4 to 6 weeks out. You will ask for help. So what do we do with the baby when we go work out, right? So we either ask a family friend to take care of them for an hour and a half. We set up something. Ask your husband, or ask your baby daddy to help on these certain days. That way you're teaching them and you're telling them that, hey, this is important for me to get my body back, and this is what I need you to support me with. So get over yourself on, hey, trying to do it all by yourself. Get to where you need to ask for help. Either it's Tuesday, Thursday, and then a Saturday. I need this hour and a half, and I need this kind of the nap time. I don't know when it's going to be, but this is where I want it to be, right? So that's one. And then what you do during, like, right after delivery, which I think is so key to getting your abs in place. After the first baby, my abs came together. The skin was still good. Everything, the texture, everything was looking really, really good. After the second baby was a little different, but still, obviously I am older and the skin texture will never be the same, but I still got back really well, aside from I had an umbilical hernia. So anyways, I think as soon as you have a baby, you have to wear the belly band. Or some sort of like compression garment that keeps your abdomen like tight, and it reminds you to tighten your abs. So once you have the baby, once you're starting the process of going, your body's pregnant and knows it's going to deliver, it starts to kind of do what it needs to do to get in place and get kind of like stretchy and get in place for delivery, right? So after you have the baby, for me, I had a C-section, so I had a 9-pound baby. So as soon as I had the baby, I asked the nurse, I was like, hey, when can I put my belly band on, or when I can put my compression garment on? And she told me like 8 hours. So I had I told Shane, set your alarm on your phone in 8 hours. I called the nurse in, and she helped me, get up and put the compression garment on. And that really helped the pain on top of it, really helped keeping my abs together. So the body starts to, as soon as you have the baby, it starts to healing, right? So you need to help the muscles come back together. And it's just what works for me. It works for a lot of other people, and it makes sense. And when you look at people that go into plastic surgery and they do all these things, the plastic surgeons always have them wear like compression garments, because you're needing the skin to reattach to the muscle, and you need to help the muscles kind of come together. And it also reminds you to tighten your abs, because you forget to do that because you've been pregnant for, feels like forever, right? So the belly band. Within the second thing is, within the first 1 to 2 weeks, I started, and I recommend it for all our clients, I started food logging. So food logging was just a way for me to remind myself to eat on time and get my metabolism in a good place, so that when I really started, after the 4 to 6 weeks, kind of started focusing on myself and getting my body back, I knew that I would be set up for success. Like, if I started food logging, I would understand, hey, I'm getting my every 3 to 4 hours, and if you don't remember the metabolism stuff that I talk about, watch the last video. And it got me in a rhythm of, hey, I'm taking care of this baby, but it made me inch a little bit of time for myself. And food logging took 2 minutes a day, 30 seconds every time I ate, and I could tweak very easily. Like, I made sure I ate real whole foods that were real, so I had enough breast milk and all that stuff, and I ate every 3 to 4 hours, knowing that I needed a good metabolism for the rest of the journey after, the 6 weeks, right? So I set it to where I would food log a week right after I had the baby. So I gave myself a week to just get in the groove. We tell clients 1 to 2 weeks, but you have to set literally a calendar reminder to, hey, this is when I start food logging, because it's literally, all hands on deck. It's kind of chaos when the baby arrives, right? So the second thing is, I walked almost immediately. I intentionally walked after the first week. We tell our clients anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. So I walked immediately, just to get moving, but I intentionally started going on walks daily. It started out as 10 minutes. I was kind of scared to leave the block, so I basically paced the block back and forth for 10 minutes, or always on the phone while I was pushing the baby. But after 1 week, 1 to 2 weeks, I walked every day until I could get back to the gym, which was, for C-section, said 6 weeks, but I went back at 4 weeks because I was in good shape before. I felt good. I'm really into it in my body, and I knew when to start. And I started really slowly because I did know I was starting early, right? And so, obviously you need to ask your doctor first on 4 or 6 weeks, depending on what they say, that's when you start. So walking immediately, it just gets the blood flowing. It gets you in the mindset. You get so many more benefits of just being outside, endorphins, you get more energy. So, that was a main component that you do immediately after, 1 to 2 weeks after you have a baby. And another thing is tracking water immediately. So the food logging might cause you to I obviously don't go under 1,400 calories when you're breastfeeding and all that stuff, but that helps you stay on track. You don't get crazy with eating too little. The water is the key to breast milk. So if you're getting the right, I say over a gallon of water, you'll not worry about producing. Most people, obviously, I'm saying from my perspective and what we worked with, that when they drank a lot of water, they had a lot of milk. And this, obviously, if you have, different circumstances, and, your circumstances are a little different. So, and then that's about 3 to 4 weeks postpartum. 3 weeks probably, I'd reach out. I would reach out. I tell our clients to reach out to us, say, hey, I'm going to be starting up in the next week or two. Here's what happened in my delivery. These were the complications or not complications. I feel really good. I have been walking. I have been logging. I've been drinking my water. What do we do next, right? So then the trainer, we would give you a game plan. Hey, let's start out with 2 times a week. Let's start out with 3 times a week. Or what are your goals? I still have this many. So talk that through, right? When you come back 4 to 6 weeks after your first session, you should measure. And you just had a baby, so give yourself a little grace, and, don't look at, if you don't want to look at the number, don't look at the number, but you just had a baby. You created a human being in your life, so you should give yourself a little grace, and you are going to be heavier because that's what it takes to create human beings inside your body. So, I think that if you have, I think that it's a must to have an accountability person, which is a personal trainer that has been there before. Thanks, Jenny. So, and to stay on track. So the thing is, hey, you've created this human being and you need to take care of yourself. If you look at the big picture and go, hey, if I just do a half-assed job of kind of walking and then like doing some weights at home, it's going to take me a lot longer to get to my goal, right? But if you just think, if I master and get my weight under control and I give myself a year to do so and I make it in 8 months and I make it in 6 months, then hoorah, right? So make sure that you're being realistic. I needed to lose, like the first baby 70, the second one 80 pounds, but I always gave myself a year. So in my mind, I gave myself a year because I didn't need to beat myself up. I mean, I have businesses. I mean, I have a lot of work to do. I also want to be present for the baby. I also wanted to be, not so stressed. So I gave myself a year, but I accomplished it. It took me average. I made it in 7 to 9 months, right? So just set your mental up for a success. So I said 1 year, if I make it, great. If I'm going to be making progress. And then it happened earlier. And so I was happy. But I think the main thing was like, I wasn't stressed. Like I didn't give myself a 6 months goal, or I have allergies, but I didn't give myself a 3-month goal to get back in shape and perfect. Because if you lose weight too fast, your skin won't attach very well. And then you'll just have issues with that. So you really have to keep it in a good pace. I would say anywhere from 6 to 10 pounds a month is pretty good. And obviously each month is going to ebb and flow. And if you're working with a trainer, you can tweak as you go, as you plateau, right? So those are some good points that I have. And I was talking to my OB. This is really interesting. So I was talking to my OB because I was like, okay, why are women gaining so much weight and they never get to lose, they're never like, when they want to have more babies, they end up like being like 20, 30 pounds and they can't keep it off. And she tells me this really interesting. So after somebody has their first baby, they never learn how to manage their weight, and they never learn how to like get the weight back down to where they were, where they want to, or where they feel good about their weight before they already have a next baby. So then they already start having the next baby, or trying for the next baby, and then having the next baby, and they didn't even like lose all the weight, or they didn't learn how to manage their weight. So I would say you really need to focus on, hey, life doesn't get easier with the second baby. It gets harder. So if you can't master your weight or manage your weight, then you're going to be always treading water. You're always going to be spending time beating yourself up. Like I spend very little time like figuring out what I'm going to wear in the morning, because I spent all the time up front figuring out how to maintain my weight, right? So if you want to play it out like 5 years from now, 3 years from now, if you don't get your weight or your weight management and your health and fitness under control, it doesn't have to be perfect and like what you see on Instagram. It just needs to be like you're performing well, you're not tired every freaking day because you're not working out or because you eat like crap. If you master that and you take the time up front and you pay the money up front to learn, right? Because you don't have the time to experiment and like do all the different things and then wait 2 or 3 years to finally get your formula, because you'll run out of willpower by that point. If you need to spend the time to get the training or to get the information or or the money, then do it. And once you get that formula, you're kind of set. I mean, you're pretty much set until like another life change, like hormones or whatever, or the next baby comes along. You just have to re-strategize. But the process is so much easier if you take time up front and you commit to like, hey, I'm not having another child until like I have like those weight management skills under control, because life doesn't get easier. It gets harder. You have less time. And if you want to kind of half-ass the first process or the first few months postpartum and not lose your weight, then you're just going to be dealing with it for months and months and potentially years afterwards, which to me means you don't get to present the best you. I want to be the best person I can be for my children, and it's not the person that is always mad at themselves for not doing what they say they're going to do, which is like work out or eat healthy. I want to have the most energy that I can have given the circumstances of maybe the baby waking up every 2 hours for breastfeeding and stuff. but you owe it to yourself and to your family and to your children to work on yourself first and take out the time necessary to do that, or the money necessary to do that, to get everything you need, to get all your kind of ducks in a row. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm not talking about six pack, okay? I'm talking about managing your weight and feeling good about yourself, not what you see all over the place, or all over social media. And once you get that down, you will be a better person, for your better wife. You'll be a better mom. You'll also be proud of yourself because you're representing what you said you were going to do. I think one of the keys to happiness is being in line with your values. I'm doing my passion, and I feel very happy about it. It's because I know that's what's in my heart, and that's what's in my gut that I need to do for myself to be happy. And if you know you should be eating better, and you should be, working out, and you're not doing it, that causes a lot of internal conflict, right? And then you present that energy out to the world, out to your job, out to your husband, out to your, whoever, out to your kids, and you can fake it, but they know. So my mindset is the biggest thing, and pre-gaming, pre-planning. Think about the times that you actually accomplished a goal, and what you did was, it was all about the practice, and it was all about the warm-up, it was all about the strategy, it was all about the visualization of how it's going to execute. And as soon as the event came, like the game or the baby, all you had to do is actually work the plan, right? A lot of us go, oh, we'll deal with it later, but you either, deal with it now or deal with it later. I would rather deal with it now and deal with it early on and plan ahead than to have the baby be here and go, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I can't do any of this, I can't do any of that, and then try to find all that time and scramble, and you have no emotional willpower left. So that's what, you should just think about planning before. And now for all the people watching that have kind of passed that and are kind of where they're at, which is maybe they're 6 months, 8 months, a year later, and they actually didn't plan, then you're going to need to take out, carve some time out for yourself and get somebody to help you, because you don't know what, your aging body's doing, or a baby after a body after a pregnancy. You don't know. So get a trainer. Get it for a short period of time, or get a friend. If you don't have the money or you can't afford it, get a friend that helps you, or ask, read as much as you can. So if you don't, you're going to have to learn on your own, or you're going to have to ask others for help that might help you, or you can pay for training to know, to kind of get the shortcut from people who've already done it before and helped other people through it. So anyways, I hope that was helpful. I really think it's important for the whole setup, and telling yourself hey, I'm not allowed to kind of have another. That's what I said to myself, hey, I can't have another kid until I get myself under control, my life under control, to some extent, so that I can feel like I'm ready and thankful to have this, to try for the next baby. Otherwise it just doesn't get easier. So anyways, if you would post down below any questions you have, or you can DM me any questions you have. I think I had a lot of questions recently, or just before I put this topic up, about what do you do in, what do you eat postpartum, what do you do a couple months after, whatever questions you have, put it down below. I'll answer it, or I'll make sure somehow I'll cover it in the topic in the future. But I hope that was helpful, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. And remember to be positive, and and give yourself a little grace, and reach out for help, and ask your husband if you need a break, and tell him you need to go to the gym, and then he can watch the kids. So, because it's better to take care of yourself first and get your system down, and then you can be a really great parent, and you have the energy to be a great parent, and you also know that you are a great role model. So yes, I can do a video about being 40 plus. I'm 36, but I've worked with a lot of people that are 40 plus. So any other questions, you just shout out, and you know where to find me on Instagram and on Facebook. So I will talk to you guys later. I really appreciate you joining in. Thank you.